Alpen Pharmaceuticals in association with Higher Secondary Principals Forum.
Good morning everyone. I am Vaishali Naik from People's Higher Secondary, Mala Panchim. Today we are going to learn the topic microbes in human welfare. The term microbe, which means tiny organisms which cannot be seen with the naked eyes. Whenever we hear about the microbes, we start thinking about disease causing organism. But that is not so the case. There are many microbes which are useful to us in many other aspects of life. Example, microbes are useful to us, which we are also going to discuss in this topic, are microbes in household products, microbes in industrial products, microbes in sewage treatment plant, microbes in biogas production, microbes as biocontrol agent, and microbes as biofertilizers. When we say microbes, they are present all around us in many different environments, in many different shape and size. From protozoa to bacteria to viruses, there are many different types of microorganisms around us which exist in different shapes and size. You will be surprised to know in your own mother's kitchen there will be many different varieties of microorganisms which will be helping to produce different delicacies in the kitchen. So let us start with microbes in household products. Have you ever wondered the warm milk which your mother keeps in the pot overnight turns into a curd by morning? What is it that helping it out? The organism which helps in this conversion is lactic acid bacteria or lactobacillus. If you ever observed how your mother keeps it, the warm milk which she takes, she will be adding a previous batch of small curd into that. So what is that previous batch of small curd? It is actually an inoculum or a starter culture. That starter culture, those small amount of bacteria will in turn act on the milk sugar, that is lactose, and convert it into acid, lactic acid. This lactic acid will be digesting, rather partial digesting the proteins in the milk and converting it into the curd. In this conversion process, it is actually enhancing the vitamin B12 content in that milk. This lactic acid bacteria is also helpful as a probiotic, which means it will not allow the growth of harmful organism in your stomach. Other organisms that play role in the household products are in the preparation of these fermented delicacies like dosa and idlis and even dokla. How are these helping them in production of this product? The microorganisms will be leading to anaerobic respiration, which is a bacterial fermentation. In this anaerobic respiration, they will be releasing a gas called carbon dioxide. And due to this release of the gas, the dough will be giving you the puffed up appearance. Hence, whenever you are steaming the idli or cooking the dosa, the release of the carbon dioxide due to the heat will give the pores and the puffed up appearance to these delicacies. The next example in microbes in household product is of yeast, which is also called as baker's yeast. Scientific name of this yeast is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. It is used to make bread by fermenting dough. Toddy, the traditional fermented drink, which is actually made from fermenting the sap from palms. It is also a product due to a microbial action. There are many different other fermented dishes like fermented fish, soya bean, bamboo shoots, and produced cheese. If we go in the cheese counter of supermarket, we will be finding different types of cheese. The characteristic of these different type of cheese that is based on their flavor, form and appearance is due to the organism that is growing and leading to this cheese formation. The best example we can see with this Swiss cheese. This Swiss cheese will be appearing with the big hole. Now how does this hole appear? This hole is due to release of carbon dioxide gas, which is actually a byproduct of microbial action. Which is the bacteria which is working on this Swiss cheese? It is Propionibacterium shermani. There is another type of a cheese called as Roquefort cheese. If you have ever seen the cheese as shown here, it will be appearing with the black spots and a particular flavor. This is due to the growth of the fungus Penicillium roqueforti. This fungus will be giving the particular appearance to this Roquefort cheese as well as a peculiar taste to this Roquefort cheese. Microbes are not useful only in the household, but they are also useful in the production of industrial level product. When we say industrial level product, it means that the production is at the very high level. So, for this high level of production, there will be a need of particular container, a specific vessel, and that vessel is actually a fermenter. So, what is a fermenter? It will be a big metallic vessel which will be helping by providing an optimum condition to these microorganisms so that they can give you the optimum level of product which is needed. Now, let us see the different examples by which in industrial level we obtain the product with the help of microorganism. Under this, the first example is fermented beverages. Fermented beverages, the example can be wine, beer, different types of alcohol. This is achieved with the help of action of an organism Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Here, this Saccharomyces cerevisiae is known as brewer's yeast. It is used in the production of beverages by fermenting malted cereals like barley and fruit juices like grape juice to produce ethanol. The example will be wine from barley and beer from grape juice. Now, the difference in wine and beer as compared to whiskey, brandy, rum or gin is wine and beer is not subjected to distillation process. They are stopped only till fermentation by yeast. So, the alcohol content in them will be comparatively lower as compared to these whiskey, brandy, rum and gin, which are again subjected to distillation process. The second example under industrial production is antibiotic. The term antibiotic in Greek means antibios, that is against life. Now, it is not against all life, but only against those life which are harmful, pathogenic. So, antibiotic are chemical substances which are produced by microbes which will be actually killing or they will stop the growth of pathogen. Antibiotic is rather used to treat different diseases like plague, whooping cough, diphtheria, leprosy, etc. If you have heard about the story of discovery of antibiotics, you would realize that the discovery of antibiotic was by serendipity, that is by accident. It was discovered by Sir Alexander Fleming. When Sir Alexander Fleming was actually working with this bacteria Staphylococci, one day he forgot this plate of culture, Staphylococci plate, in open. And when he came next morning, he observed that this plate of Staphylococci was showing the growth of Staphylococci, but there was one region on that plate where there was the growth of certain mold. And around that mold, that Staphylococci was not growing. So, Sir Alexander Fleming was actually curious to know why this was happening. And later on, when he studied in detail, he found that mold to be Penicillium notatum. And the compound which he extracted from that fungus, he named it after that fungus as penicillin. So, this was the first discovery of antibiotic. Later on, Ernest Chain and Howard Florey actually established the full potential of antibiotic. Therefore, Ernest Chain and Howard Florey along with Sir Alexander Fleming was awarded Nobel Prize in the year 1945. There are many other different compounds which are produced at the industrial level with the help of microorganism. We have seen fermented beverages and antibiotic. Along with them, there will be other chemicals, enzymes and bioactive molecules. So, let us see what are the different chemicals that we can see. Chemicals like organic acids. If you buy any food beverages, any food products from the commercial field and you observe the ingredient, you will always find that there will be certain one or the other organic acid present on them. Now what are these organic acids? Examples are like citric acid, ascorbic acid, etc. If we see organic acid like citric acid, now citric acid you will be finding in the cold drinks. They will be added as a giving the taste enhancer, the sour taste which is given to this cold drink. Even if you bring any lime flavored cold drink, you will find the ingredient citric acid in them. So that sourness in that, that tanginess in that will be due to this organic acid. Now from which organism is it obtained? It is obtained from the fungus Aspergillus niger. Similarly, there are many other different organic acids like acetic acid which is obtained from Acetobacter aceti, butyric acid from Clostridium botulicum, a bacteria, and lactic acid from Lactobacillus which is again a bacteria. Along with organic acid, there is also alcohol. As we have seen in fermented beverages, the organism which is responsible for this conversion is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, that is a brewer's yeast which will produce ethanol. The next product which is produced with the help of microorganism is enzymes. Enzymes play a vital role in different fields like in medical field, in your washing industry, then in beverage industry. So example under this we can see as lipase. Lipase will be a very important ingredient in the detergents. They will help in removing the oil stain of your dirty laundry. There are enzymes like pectinase and proteases which will help in clarifying the bottled juice. If you prepare a apple juice at your house and if you buy a apple juice from a shop, if you look at the difference, the apple juice from your kitchen will be quite hazy, whereas the apple juice that you buy from the shop will be very clear. Why is it so? It is because the commercial level apple juice what you buy is treated with these enzymes like pectinases which will give that clear appearance to that juice. The next example for the enzymes is streptokinase. Streptokinase is an enzyme which is produced by Streptococcus. How is it useful? It is used as a clot buster, meaning the person who is suffering from myocardial infarction, that is a heart attack patient, he will be administered this streptokinase and this streptokinase will help in removing of the clot from the blood vessel. Now coming to the bioactive molecule. The first bioactive molecule which we are studying is cyclosporin A. Cyclosporin A is produced by the fungus Trichoderma polysporum. How is it useful? It acts as an immunosuppressant agent. What does it mean? The person who is undergoing an organ transplant. When a person is taking the organ from a donor, he is taking it from another foreign body inside his body. So what will happen? The person who is taking the foreign organ, his immune system is capable of fighting off that foreign organ. So to suppress that person's immune system, this cyclosporin is administered to that patient, a transplant patient. Next bioactive compound is statin. Statin is produced by an yeast Monascus purpureus. This Monascus purpureus will be producing the statins which will be used as a blood cholesterol level lowering agent. How does it act? It will act by inhibiting the enzyme responsible for synthesis of cholesterol. So these were the different example of microorganisms which were playing a vital role at commercial level in industry production. You all must be wondering all that wastewater that comes from your houses, complexes, hospitals and industries. What happens to this wastewater? This wastewater is also known as sewage. Sewage in other word is a municipal wastewater. Now this municipal wastewater which is a sewage is rich in organic component and microbes. If we discard them directly into the natural water body, it will lead to pollution of those water body, which is not advisable. Hence, the plant, that is a sewage treatment plant, came into existence. How does they help? This sewage treatment plant will allow this sewage to reduce its pollutant, and afterwards, after passing through this sewage treatment plant, the effluent is safe to be discarded into a natural water body. Now, in this sewage treatment plant, there are two stages. First is a primary stage, that is a primary treatment, and second is the secondary treatment, which is also known as biological treatment. We will see both of this treatment in detail. Primary treatment. In primary treatment, it is actually a physical removal of the waste. That is, in that sewage, whatever is possible to remove physically with the help of filters and settling is done in this primary treatment. So, what happens in primary treatment? It includes sequential filters. If you look at the diagram, there will be many layers of filters with different porosity. So, through this, the solid part can be filtered out. Then the effluent which is passing through, the filtrate which is passing through this filter will be coming in this chamber, a grit chamber, where the settling will take place. So, all the grit, that is sand, pebble, will settle down due to the effect of gravity. Once this is done, after sedimentation, the effluent that is coming out of this sedimentation tank after primary treatment is known as primary effluent. This primary effluent will be passed on to the secondary treatment, which is also known as biological treatment. This primary effluent will be passing through this sedimentation tank, and whatever is settled down is known as primary sludge. Now, let us see what happens to primary effluent in the secondary treatment. From this primary treatment, the primary effluent is then passed on to a large tank with continuous agitators. That is, they will have the rotors, the blade, which will be continuously moving this primary effluent. What happens in this? Due to this constant agitation, as you can see in this picture, it is getting constantly moved in this aeration tank. Due to this aeration, there will be enough amount of oxygen provided to this. This will allow the growth of aerobic bacteria, which is already present in that effluent. It will enhance their growth. These bacteria will be growing along with the fungal mycelia, and they will form the structures called as floc, which you can see here. So, these are the flocs, which is nothing but a mash like masses of bacteria and fungal filaments. So, what does they do? They are actually very important in this water treatment. They will actually consume the organic matter which is there in this effluent, and they will reduce the BOD of the water. BOD is biochemical oxygen demand. To understand the concept of the BOD, we can see via these pictures. One is the glass of water and second is the sewage water. Now, a glass of water is having a BOD less than 0.5 mg per liter, and the sewage water is having around 600 mg per liter. BOD by definition is amount of oxygen consumed by bacteria to oxidize all the organic matter in 1 liter. So, higher the pollutant in the water, higher will be the organic matter. So, more is oxygen needed. So, this is how the biochemical oxygen demand will be more in the polluted water as compared to the clear water. So, this is the concept of BOD. So, in this aeration tank, basically the BOD is lowered with the help of this microbial action. Where are the microbes present? In that floc, in that mass which has happened due to clustering of bacteria and fungal mycelium. So, after the treatment in this aeration tank, this effluent is allowed to pass in a settling tank. What will happen in settling tank? In settling tank, there are no rotors, there will be no movement. They are just allowed to stand. So, when this effluent is just standing, the flocs which were formed in the aeration tank, they will settle down. So, this settled down flocs is known as activated sludge. and this activated sludge is rich in the microorganism. So, small amount of this activated sludge will be again passed on to the aeration tank as a inoculum for a next batch of primary effluent treatment. Okay? And in this settling tank, that is in this settling tank, the effluent which is formed, it will be passed on to the water body. Now it is safe to pass on to the water body because their biochemical oxygen demand has been reduced. So what is happening to this activated sludge? Once the effluent is released into the water bodies, the activated sludge is passed on to anaerobic digester. In anaerobic digester, there will be anaerobic bacteria. So, these anaerobic bacteria will actually digest this flux, the activated sludge, and they will produce a biogas. And the remaining sludge which is left after digestion, it can be actually used as a manure. So, if we want to see how the overall step in this secondary treatment, biological treatment looks like, the primary effluent which comes after physical separation from primary treatment is subjected to aeration tank. Due to continuous aeration, the microbial flocks are formed. These flocks will reduce the biochemical oxygen demand. Due to the reduced biochemical oxygen demand, the water is fit to be sent in the natural water body. The sludge, the settled activated sludge, small amount will be passed on to the aeration tank as an inoculum, and the remaining ones will be sent in a anaerobic sludge on which the anaerobic bacteria will act, and it will give rise to production of biogas. This was about the microbes in sewage treatment plant. Due to the benefit of this sewage treatment plant, the Ministry of Environment and Forest has initiated Ganga Action Plan and Yamuna Action Plan. What is happening in this plan? They have actually set up the treatment plant around these water bodies so that all those industrial units which are there around and household units which are there around these water bodies will not pass their sewage directly into Ganga or Yamuna, but they will come via this sewage treatment plant and then it will be passed into this water body, hence reducing the level of pollution in the water body. Now coming to the next use of microbes, that is the use of microbes in production of biogas. What is a biogas? Biogas is a mixture of gases. It mainly contains a gas methane. It is produced by a group of microbes known as methanogen. The example of methanogen being Methanobacterium. So what are the gases that they produce? These methanogens will grow anaerobically on cellulosic material and produce the gases like methane, carbon dioxide and hydrogen. Methanobacterium are found in the anaerobic sludge and rumen of cattle. Why rumen of cattle? Because they need it for cellulose digestion, since they will be feeding on grass which is rich with cellulose. Here we can see people adding a cow dung to the biogas unit. Why cow dung? Cow dung will be the rich source of this methanobacterium. How does the biogas plant look like? This biogas plant will be having a concrete tank underground. So this concrete tank is around 10 to 15 feet deep. In this concrete tank, the slurry is made. Slurry means a cow dung with organic waste mixed in water, okay, in a smooth paste like texture that is passed into this digester, this concrete tank. Here the digestion of that slurry takes place with the help of methanobacterium. Now they will release gases. What are the gases? Methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen. So these gases is collected in this gas holder. This metallic gas holder will collect the gas. It is having an outlet. You can see this pipe. This pipe is then connected to the household. This gas can be used for cooking. It is a very clean gas. No smoke is generated. It can be also used for lighting the lamp. After the gas is collected in this gas holder, the digested slurry that is once the action of microbe has been done on that slurry, the remaining slurry is then taken out from this third outlet and it is used as a fertilizer. It will be an organic fertilizer which will be very beneficial in farming. In India, this biogas plant was developed by Indian Agriculture Research Institute and Khadi and Village Industry Commission, that is KVIC. If we see in rural India, you will find many biogas. This biogas is also known as gobar gas. What is the reason? The reason behind this is because there will be lot of cattle dung, cow dung available in this rural India. So, it is easy to set up this biogas plant. But it is not the only case. Even in Pune, it has been found that to light the street lamp, the use of biogas has been done. So, biogas, if we see, is a very useful, beneficial and eco-friendly gas as compared to LPG, because LPG will become a non-renewable source of energy. Now, let us see the use of microbes as a biocontrol agent. What does the meaning biocontrol is? Biocontrol means to use a biological method for controlling plant and disease pest. You could say that we have pesticide for that. Why do we need a special biological method for controlling that? Right. But if you observe very carefully, these pesticides what they are using, the weedicides what they are using to control the pests, right, or other disease causing organism, what is happening? They are leaving the residues. Even now when we bring the vegetable and fruits from the market, you will find that there will be a fine coating of pesticides, right, which is actually harmful. They can even be carcinogenic in nature. So, how to overcome them? They will also lead to decreasing the soil fertility if used for over a period of time. And this is what was also seen in Punjab. That is, after a continuous use of chemical fertilizer and chemical pesticides, around 10 major water bodies was found to be polluted with this residues of pesticides and inorganic fertilizer. And hence, this biocontrol, biological method is very useful. The best example is using, that is implementing ladybird or beetle to control aphids or dragonfly to control mosquito. Here we can see the ill effect of chemical pesticides shown in the picture. How harmful they can be. They are not just killing the pest, along with that they might even kill the other beneficial organisms which might be actually needed in that farming process. Hence the use of biological controlling agents. Now, what are the different microbes which can be used as a biocontrol agent? The first example is Bacillus thuringiensis, which is also known as BT. This Bacillus thuringiensis is used to control butterfly caterpillar. Why? Because they will be feeding on the young foliages of these brassicas and fruit trees, which is again harmful for the crop production. So, how is this Bacillus thuringiensis used? The spores, okay, in sachets are available in market. They are mixed in water and they are sprayed on these crops. So, when these caterpillars are actually feeding on the leaves, the residues of the spores which are there on the leaves will be also ingested by this larvae. And in their alkaline gut, inside the gut of this algae, inside the gut of this larvae, these spores will get activated and they will kill the larvae. This is how Bacillus thuringiensis is used. Now, this is with the respect of using direct spores of BT. This same phenomena is used in genetically engineered crop too. That is, scientists have introduced this BT gene, okay, Bacillus thuringiensis toxin gene into the plant. Example being BT cotton, BT brinjal. Second example is Trichoderma species. Trichoderma is a fungus. It is a free living fungus which you find in root ecosystem. When this Trichoderma is there, it will control other plant pathogen, it will not allow other plant pathogen to grow and hence protect the plant. Next example, baculovirus. especially from genus Nucleopolyhedrovirus. They will attack insects and other arthropod. The benefit of this baculovirus is they are species specific, meaning what? They will be targeting only the target organism. They will not target any other beneficial organism in that ecosystem. So, in return it will be beneficial to farmers. Farmers will not have to worry about other ecological benefits of other organism getting destroyed due to the use of this baculovirus. Hence, they are known as narrow spectrum insecticides. Okay? So, they show narrow spectrum insecticidal application, and that is why they are desirable in IPM method. IPM is Integrated Pest Management Program, which is to conserve the beneficial insects. Now coming to the last use of microorganism, that is microbes as a biofertilizers. We have seen lot of fertilizers that are available in the market like NPK. But what is the ill effect of these NPK fertilizers? They are inorganic. So, their accessibility to the plant is not that easy. Plant can take up in organic form and in inorganic form it becomes difficult for plant to take up the nutrient from the soil. Whereas what are biofertilizers? Biofertilizers are actually an organisms which is enriched in the nutrient quality of the soil. It will actually enhance the nutrient quality of the soil. Example are bacteria, fungi and cyanobacteria. The best example you can see is with respect to Rhizobium. Rhizobium is a symbiotic bacteria. Symbiotic means it is in association with the roots of the plant. It is helping the roots of the plant, and in turn helping the plant, and plant is also providing the food to this bacteria. So, they both are helping each other, symbiotic association. In this symbiotic association, the bacteria will be residing in the root nodules of this leguminous plant. How are they helpful to plant? They help in fixing the atmospheric nitrogen. There are other free living bacteria too in the soil. Which are those? Azospirillum, Azotobacter. How are they helpful? They enrich the nitrogen content of the soil. Next is mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza, that is fungal association with the roots. How are they helpful? This is again a symbiotic association, that is both are benefited, plant as well as the fungus. In this symbiotic association, the example they have given here is of glomus. What happens is the fungus will get the food from the plant, and in return this fungus will help the plant to absorb the phosphorus from the soil and pass it to the plant. It will also give resistance to root-borne pathogens. That is, since this fungus is there in association with the root, the plant will be protected from other pathogenic organism, and it will allow the tolerance to salinity and drought. It will give overall increase in plant growth and development. So, it is a beneficial association of fungus and root of the plant. The next one is cyanobacteria, also known as blue-green algae. What is the characteristic feature of this cyanobacteria? They are autotrophic in nature, that is they are photosynthetic. They fix the atmospheric nitrogen. They will have a specific heterocyst. Okay, there will be a specific feature in them known as heterocyst, which will actually help in fixing the atmospheric nitrogen. Example of this cyanobacteria are Anabaena, Nostoc, Oscillatoria, etc. So, how are they used? In paddy field, cyanobacteria serve as biofertilizer. It also adds organic matter to the soil and increases the fertility. So, this is how, this is very important. They are purposely employed in the paddy field so that they will actually increase the organic matter. From where this organic matter is coming? The cyanobacteria is continuously dividing in the soil. So, their leftover cells will add on to the organic matter and in turn the nutrient to the paddy. That is why they will be employed in this field. So they are very useful to increase the soil fertility, and they will also help, these biofertilizers will also help to solubilize the residual inorganic component. Like suppose if the farmer was using an inorganic fertilizer for earlier part of his farming, and then he observed that the soil is losing the fertility, and due to certain suggestion he has come to biofertilizer now. That does not mean that the residues of inorganic fertilizer which he was using earlier will disappear from the soil. There will be certain amount of them still prevalent in the soil. Now when he is shifting to this biofertilizer, these organisms which are there in biofertilizer will actually help to convert these residues into a soluble form, so that the plant can easily take up those residues and will increase the production of the crop. So we have seen that there are so many different microorganisms in different fields and arena where it is helpful for humans. So microorganisms are not just disease causing, but they are in much more beneficial to us also. Thank you.
Prudent Scholars, powered by Lupin Pharmaceuticals.
अब आपकी सुरक्षा आपके हाथों में। ल्यूपी सेफ हैंड सैनिटाइजर, आपका और चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स का फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस। अब आपकी सुरक्षा आपके हाथों में। ल्यूपी सेफ हैंड सैनिटाइजर, आपका और चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स का फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस। अब आपकी सुरक्षा आपके हाथों में। ल्यूपी सेफ हैंड सैनिटाइजर, आपका और चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स का फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस।